Imagine if the world's largest asset manager is quietly laying the groundwork for an XRP ETF. That's the question sparking intense speculation across the crypto space right now. The name at the center of these rumors? BlackRock, the financial titan that has already shaken the market with its bold moves into Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Known for its strategic precision and stealthy execution, BlackRock doesn't act without purpose. When it does, the ripple effects are seismic. This time, whispers are growing louder that the firm is exploring XRP, with legal teams allegedly reviewing potential filings, institutional research desks preparing XRP-related reports, and market analysts drawing parallels to BlackRock's previous ETF launches. The strategy looks familiar, subtle, deliberate, and timed to perfection. In the case of Bitcoin, BlackRock filed its ETF with minimal warning, sending shockwaves through the industry. Many now believe a similar playbook is being used with XRP and, if true, it could mark a watershed moment in the token's history. The environment has never been more favorable. XRP recently scored a crucial legal win in the US, where courts clarified that XRP is not considered a security when traded on exchanges. This decision, along with emerging crypto-friendly legislation, has swept away much of the regulatory uncertainty that previously hindered institutional adoption. For financial powerhouses like BlackRock, regulatory clarity is essential. They won't touch an asset if there's risk of legal entanglements that could jeopardize client trust or compliance. Now, with Ripple's legal battles largely behind it and regulatory frameworks becoming clearer, XRP is more attractive to traditional finance than ever before. It's important to remember that XRP isn't just another cryptocurrency. It's a token built for enterprise-grade global payments, boasting real-world utility, speed, and scalability. If BlackRock is indeed moving toward an XRP ETF, it wouldn't just be another crypto milestone. It could reshape the landscape of institutional investment in digital assets. XRP stands out in the crypto space not just for its market cap or community support, but for its real-world utility, specifically in the realm of cross-border payments. Backed by Ripple's expanding global network, XRP has already been embraced by financial institutions outside the United States for facilitating fast, low-cost international transactions. Unlike many cryptocurrencies that rely primarily on speculative trading, XRP has a tangible use case, and that matters, especially to institutional investors. When firms like BlackRock look for long-term investment opportunities, they don't act on hype, they act on fundamentals and infrastructure. It's easy to forget that before BlackRock officially filed for a Bitcoin ETF, they quietly set the stage, registering business entities, trademarks, and digital asset-related subsidiaries, having private discussions with regulators, and laying legal and logistical groundwork without tipping off the market. That methodical strategy paid off, triggering massive rallies when their filings finally went public. Now, analysts and influencers are starting to see similar movements surrounding XRP, and many believe it's more than coincidence. If BlackRock does decide to file for an XRP ETF, the impact would extend far beyond price action. It would legitimize XRP in the eyes of traditional finance and open the floodgates to institutional capital. Pension funds, asset managers, and hedge funds that have been sitting on the sidelines, either due to regulatory uncertainty or operational barriers, would suddenly have a compliant, secure pathway to invest in prey. XRP, without handling crypto directly. This level of access could inject billions of dollars into the market, dramatically increasing liquidity and visibility. For long-time XRP holders, such a move would represent validation and potentially a transformational shift in value. We've already witnessed the powerful market effects of BlackRock's involvement in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, with legal clarity in the US and Ripple's stronger-than-ever positioning, the attention could very well be turning to XRP. All the signs are pointing in that direction. The only real question left is not if, but when. In today's deep dive, we'll explore why this XRP ETF narrative is gaining momentum, what BlackRock's next moves might look like, and how such a development could redefine XRP's place in the future of finance. To grasp why the rumor of a potential XRP ETF is generating such intense buzz, it's essential to first understand the weight behind the name being linked to it, BlackRock. This isn't just another financial firm. BlackRock is the largest asset manager on the planet, overseeing more than $10 trillion in assets, a figure that surpasses the GDP of most nations. Their influence goes far beyond capital. They command attention, shape policy discussions, and hold close ties with governments, central banks, and institutional powerhouses. When BlackRock enters a market, it doesn't just invest, it validates. Their involvement sends a clear signal to the financial world. This is something worth taking seriously. We've seen this happen before. Their foray into Bitcoin and then Ethereum wasn't just a shift in sentiment, it was a catalyst that sent both assets soaring and helped usher crypto further into the mainstream. BlackRock is trusted not only for its size, but for its strategic discipline. It doesn't chase trends. It studies them, waits, plans, and only moves when all the conditions align. That's why whispers of BlackRock turning its attention to XRP are being treated as more than just idle speculation. This is a firm known for laying the groundwork quietly, registering entities, securing trademarks, holding closed-door meetings, and closely engaging with regulators all long before making a public announcement. That's precisely what they did before the Bitcoin ETF, a move that ultimately helped drive a new wave of institutional adoption and market momentum. Ethereum followed a similar pattern. Now, as XRP clears regulatory hurdles and strengthens its global adoption story, the asset is beginning to check the same boxes BlackRock looks for: legal clarity, utility, liquidity, and institutional interest. XRP's unique position in the crypto ecosystem as a token built for efficient cross-border payments and already used by banks and financial services outside the US makes it stand out from more speculative coins. It's not just a crypto project, it's infrastructure, supported by Ripple's expanding network of global partnerships. Combine that with its recent legal victories in the US, and suddenly it fits the mold of an asset ready for prime-time institutional exposure. When observers begin to notice subtle changes, language shifts from executives, Ripple engaging in high-level discussions, or documents that hint at corporate structuring around XRP, it starts to feel very familiar, because this is exactly how BlackRock operates, not with loud announcements, but with quiet precision. If they are indeed preparing to enter the XRP market, the implications are massive, not just for the price of XRP, but for the future credibility and accessibility of digital assets at large. BlackRock doesn't telegraph its moves with fanfare or early announcements. It operates quietly, strategically, and only strikes batter when the timing is absolutely right. That's why the growing speculation around an XRP ETF carries so much weight. If XRP is indeed on BlackRock's radar, it wouldn't just be another headline, it could mark one of the most pivotal moments in XRP's journey. Beyond a potential price surge, a BlackRock-backed ETF would signal XRP's arrival as a legitimate and lasting fixture in the global financial system. Understanding how BlackRock operates is crucial to seeing why this rumor is so significant. Their decisions aren't based on hype, they're driven by deep research, regulatory navigation, and long-term strategy. And that's what makes this moment so compelling. Right now, the XRP community is experiencing a renewed surge of optimism, fueled by increasing chatter that BlackRock might be preparing to bring XRP BUD into the ETF fold. There's no formal announcement yet, but the signs are beginning to pile up in ways that closely mirror BlackRock's past playbook with Bitcoin and Ethereum. For instance, trademark filings have surfaced showing BlackRock's interest in digital asset-related products, and this time the language goes beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's broader, more open-ended, leaving room for other legally viable tokens. XRP now fits squarely into that category, thanks to recent court rulings clarifying that XRP is not a security when sold on secondary markets, coupled with new crypto legislation that has brought further clarity. Additionally, reports of quiet meetings involving Ripple's institutional partners, major legacy banks, and large asset managers have begun to circulate. While none of these interactions have been officially confirmed, the pattern is hard to ignore. This is exactly how BlackRock moved, before deliberately, discreetly, and always under the radar until the last moment. As these developments unfold, crypto influencers, analysts, and news platforms have started giving more attention to the possibility. On platforms like Twitter, XRP-related ETF discussions and hashtags are picking up steam, with comparisons being drawn to the lead-up to BlackRock's previous ETF filings. While it's still just speculation for now, the structure, timing, and subtle signals are all reminiscent of how major market moves often begin with a whisper, not a shout. If history is any guide, that whisper could soon turn into a market-moving roar. Some posts have even surfaced claiming insider information from within financial institutions, suggesting that preparations are already underway for AA XRP-based investment products. Whether or not every detail in those posts is accurate, one thing is clear: the market is reacting to the buzz. And when the topic is as potentially game-changing as an ETF, even speculation can spark serious momentum. The impact of an XRP ETF wouldn't be limited to hedge funds and institutional players. It would open the doors for everyday investors to gain exposure to XRP through the same channels they already use: brokerage accounts, retirement portfolios, and financial advisors. This kind of accessibility would remove one of the biggest barriers to entry for new investors: the need to deal with unfamiliar crypto wallets or exchanges. An ETF backed by BlackRock would do more than just drive price. It would elevate XRP's legitimacy in the eyes of the broader financial world, making it more appealing to traditional investors who have so far remained on the sidelines. What makes the current situation even more compelling is just how closely it mirrors the days leading up to BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF filing. Back then, there were also scattered rumors, speculative tweets, and alleged leaks. Many dismissed them as overly optimistic or baseless until BlackRock submitted the actual paperwork, and the market response was explosive. That memory is still fresh in the minds of crypto investors, which is why so many are now asking the same question: is history repeating itself, only this time with XRP in the spotlight? The science, the legal clarity, the institutional whispers, the media chatter, and the familiar tone of quiet but deliberate movements all suggest that the same playbook might be in motion. And if that's the case, we could be on the cusp of a major turning point, not just for XRP, but for how traditional finance engages with the broader crypto ecosystem.